right, guys. So we're back from vacation. We got Big Mo back in action. I just moved. So what's going on, man?
Not much, man. We had a little vacation, went to the Caribbean for a week. That was pretty good.
Nice, man.
Took a week off the gym
Yeah.
and managed to come back more beat up than when I went down there because I got the pool volleyball injury I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, like I did not intend on doing any type of activities when I went on vacation. Like, I didn't want to do any excursions, anything like that. I got asked to play beach volleyball, pool volleyball countless times and said no. But the one day I said yes, I just went to reach for a ball. And then when you're big and have a lot of muscle, it takes nothing to get injured, obviously, because like your tendons are not near as strong as your muscles. Made one fast movement, gave myself bicep tendonitis, but it's coming around now. So had a few shitty workouts trying to get back into it. But yeah, but I actually did train arms yesterday and like had to go a little lighter on the biceps, but still got it done.
Yeah. So when you have like a little injury like that, a lot of people kind of have a hard time keeping their mindset or keeping their diet in check. It's like the mind and the diet, just like, I'll wait till things get better. But I think that's such a bad approach. It's like once you start kind of veering off the path, it's harder to kind of get back on, So the best thing you can do is you just train around it, It's like,
yeah,
it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really matter what injury you have, you can still train somehow,
Oh man, 100%. Like, I mean, for me, like I had to modify a couple of back workouts to do just like only things with neutral grip because it's like anything that was a pronated movement would hurt me.
Yeah.
And I had to like skip like one bicep workout and then just like, avoid anything like that causes that area of pain. And I find if you do that for a couple of weeks, you're good to go. But either way, like for me, I'm the opposite kind of in a way because like when I go on vacation, like going in that vacation, I was getting sick of training and stuff. Like I just wasn't really enjoying the gym. So I know like getting away from it just motivates me to get back into it.
Yeah.
So like I could have took another week off and I would have just been like looking forward to coming back to the gym even more.
Yeah.
Right. So
for sure.
But yeah, everything's going good now. I mean, I got like not like a month left of this like cruise period.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be trying to get absolutely massive starting in August.
Nice. Pretty much got the same plan as you. So just gonna do like a detox phase and then get another good like mass phase in.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean August like December, right? Yeah. So that's a good August, September, October, November. Yeah, it's like 5-6 months.
Yeah.
Right. Plenty of time to get a good blast in.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit yesterday, but bodybuilding it's a lot about timing. You got to make sure that you time things correctly, and that's like from your off season to your contest prep to what shows you pick to how long you've been working with your coach. Like all these things matter, and if you hesitate for too long, you can miss opportunities. So when I first started, bodybuilding, and especially when I turned pro, I was like, well, I told myself that I was gonna take every opportunity that came my way. So all the opportunities that I have, I'm gonna make sure that I make the most of them. And like, even if I don't want to do it, like a guest posing that's inconveniently timed, it's like I'm gonna do it anyways. But sometimes things just don't match up for whatever reason. Like, obviously life, like bodybuilding is our life, but then also there's like real life. And yeah, sometimes those things don't mesh perfectly.
It's really inconvenient when life comes into play when you're trying to be bodybuilder. And there's stuff you just got to take care of, and it just it's the worst.
You're just in your little bodybuilding bubble, you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck, I gotta actually do something.
I know, man. It's hard. That's the real mental struggle there, and it probably causes us a lot more anxiety than it would like a normal person because coming out of our routine is like it can be difficult, especially if you're like in an off-season phase or in a contest prep phase, right? You're just like, oh man, like, but that's it.
We get we get pretty situated in our, like, we get set in our schedule and we don't like it to change very much.
Yeah, man, it's kind of funny. Like I find for myself, like I especially when I'm in like my zone, like if I like I said, trying to do an off-season phase or contest prep phase, like I literally need like bare minimum to live. Like I just need like my kitchen, I need the gym, like I need, somewhere to sit and eat my food and like watch TV, and like I'm literally happy. Like I could be living in like a 1-bedroom apartment and just that's all I care about. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's where I'm getting the satisfaction from.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's like,
yeah, for sure, man. Like, the thing is, Well, because I just moved too. We talked about this yesterday, but it took a while to find the right place because me and my girl both decided that we wanted to be 5 minutes from Pure Muscle and not farther than that, because around here, you know, we're kind of like, we're right in the area where there's a lot of traffic, right? It's like we're trying to get to the gym where she was before. It was only like 20 minutes from the gym. I was like an hour from the gym. And that 20 minutes can turn into fucking 30 minutes if you hit traffic. The hour can be an hour and a half if you hit traffic. It takes a lot of time out of your day, and then it fucks with your schedule. And then if your meals are off slightly, it's like that really fucks with your mind. And then just the wear and tear of like driving all the time, that was like killing me. And I felt like I'm not like in a good routine. I'm not situated. Like my mind is kind of all over the place.
Well,
So
you're
I
always
feel
stressed about
really good.
like not being efficient, like, you know what I mean, like that.
Exactly.
Like, you know, you're wasting time with all this commuting, and it's like when you're trying to do what you're doing, and then also like run a business and keep yourself financially afloat, man. Like all that time makes a difference, like, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's the
sure.
biggest thing with me. It was like that's what I was saying about like when life happens, it's like you just know it's like I mean, it's hard to convince yourself it's not taken away from your bodybuilding somehow. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But there's stuff you obviously have to deal with, and you just kind of like do your best and optimize the situation as best you can.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it just goes to show, like, I mean, how serious we take it, I guess. Right. And what and it's the mentality that's needed to stay at a high level. Like,
True. And I think it's important that whether you're an amateur or especially if you're professional, but I think just for anybody who wants to take this seriously, it's like at some point you're going to get thrown off your routine, you're going to get sick, or you're going to get something's going to happen. You're going to have to adapt. And for me, it's I think it's important to always stay locked in with like your check-ins, you know, like you have a coach, I have a coach, and we coach. And there's sometimes as a client, you're like, okay, like I don't want to check in because I had a busy weekend and I was like off my routine. And I know that my check-in isn't going to be like, it's not going to be like a good, quote unquote, good check-in. But once you do that check-in, you're probably going to look at your pictures and be like, oh, even though I had like a stressful week, as long as you stayed on your diet, you still trained. It doesn't really matter how much stress you had, you're still going to stay on track. You know what I mean? Like, oh, maybe you're holding a pound of water, but it doesn't really matter because you're still making your progress. You're still doing what you need to do in bodybuilding. It's just the fact that maybe you didn't feel like you were as laid back as you could have been going into that. So you're like, oh, like my check-in might not be ideal, but that's the whole point. It's about accountability and
exactly, yeah.
and staying true to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just because you're off track doesn't mean the accountability goes out the window. Like, you need to be accountable to being off track, even though if it wasn't your fault. But like you said, that can make the situation actually less stressful, because if you went off track and you're thinking like, oh, my update's going to suck, then you check it and it's good. First of all, that's going to like make you feel not as bad about, you know, and it's also going to give you feedback being like, okay, so like the next time if this happens, like I know I have less to stress about. But also anything like that, like as a coach, I take as like data, right? Because someone does have an off week and they update me and like not much really changed, and maybe they had like 200 or 300 extra calories. Well, then maybe I need to implement 200 or 300 extra calories in their diet. Like, you know, maybe that helps someone's performance. Like maybe it gave their metabolism a boost and they got a bit leaner, like, you know, or maybe they do go off track and they look like shit because of it, but then they get back on plan and a week later they look great again. And then you're like, okay, well, the plan that like we are doing is working. It's reassurance of that. So, you know, you just kind of, exactly, as long as you stay accountable and do your check-in, like there's going to be a benefit from it. Like, yeah, the only time you really fuck up is going off track, skipping your update, because then you can, it's easy to get like a downward spiral, like when those things start to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the number one thing with staying on track is just fucking doing your check-ins when you don't want to, you know, really.
Yeah, no, 100% agreed.
Man, check out my client. He's looking crazy. I'm gonna share my screen for a sec here. This kid's 20 years old. Look at this. He's like 8 weeks out right now.
Wow.
20 years old, natural kid. Looks awesome. Man,
that's, yeah, he's got some great shape and muscle.
Yeah. Look at this side chest.
Oh, dude, look at the side leg.
I know, it's crazy, hey?
Kid's got hamstrings, man.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Kid looks really good, man. Like we're like the side tricep is nutty. We're gonna get him fucking bone dry, peeled, get him on that stage. Like he looks great, man. Like for a natural, he trains hard, he does everything he needs to do. He always checks in. What am I doing?
The side leg is crazy, man.
Yeah. All right, I'm fucking this up.
Yeah, dude, I love these young kids that just want it bad, you know.
I'll put his here. Let me put his
Like when you get these young guys that just like understand the process and you like just from the get-go, like they're in it for the long haul. I got a couple guys like that too. They're the most satisfying to coach, man, because I feel like I'm coaching like a younger me.
100%. That's what I mean, right? Like, yeah, you feel like it's someone that you are coaching. It's like yourself. You're coaching yourself almost.
Yeah, right. And it's like that, like we always talk about, like, oh, if we could go back in time, like what would we do different in bodybuilding? And it's like you kind of get an opportunity to do that with these young guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like when they trust you to just take over everything, you can help them skip like all the mistakes and just make sure like they do every single thing perfect.
Yeah, he's like that, man. Like he's a go-getter. He's not really an Instagram guy, but I'm trying to get him to post more because it goes hand in hand. Like if you're competing and you're improving, you want to get yourself out there a bit. He's like very low key, but his Instagram is Tyler Goddard, GODDARD 11. Tyler Goddard 11 on Instagram. Just give him a follow because this is just an upcoming kid here in Canada. He's a good kid. He works hard. He runs his own business. Very smart kid. Very driven. So yeah, man. Like these are the types of people that when you get to work with them, it provides you with motivation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He got to throw some of those pictures up on Instagram because some of the shots are crazy.
Yeah.
People love the fucking plastic kids these days with the crazy vacuums and stuff, man. He's got the look, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. What's your opinion on, like, let's say he's like 19, 20, some young guy. He comes to you and he says, like, I want to go into competitive bodybuilding. He actually wants to be a bodybuilder, but he doesn't have the size. Do you get him to start in classic?
Well, I mean, in these regional shows now where you can do classic and bodybuilding, I would just throw him in both. Like, why not? He's a young kid. There's no like, I'm not big on crossovers for like guys that are further along in their career. And like, I think it's kind of silly, but I mean, when you're just getting into competing, I mean, that's what it's for. Like this kid obviously wants to be a bodybuilder. I think that's awesome, but he needs to add size.
Yeah.
But I mean, he obviously has like a very classic look to him as well, right? So there's no issue with that guy going into classic to be competitive initially and then hop into bodybuilding as well, see where he stacks up, get his pictures, get some judges feedback and, see what he really has to improve on.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's different when you're younger because when you're younger, it's really just about fucking packing on size. You just need to like force feed and just get your body to really just adapt to volumes of food, and you do that for a few years, you get bigger. Obviously, if you're going to use stuff, that's going to enhance that. But like from 20 to 25, I think that's the time where you really need to like force yourself to eat like crazy. Because after that, I don't think it's necessarily as healthy to keep doing that into your late 20s and like especially into your 30s. It's harder to like put that stress on your body if you've already been doing it for a long time. Like at some point, you have to dial back on your food and get it more to the point where it's just completely optimal, where you're growing slower once you have the bulk of your mass. But like for him, like he was eating he was probably eating like 5,000 or 6,000 calories in his off season. And then when we started pulling him down, it's easy to get lean from there,
Absolutely.
He's a young kid, so he can handle it. Like his metabolism is good. It's like when you're natural and you're young, you get like a little like chunky, but that's just because you're not mature. Like you don't have that mature muscle yet. So you put on like a little bit of like, you get soft, right? Like when you're natural and you're young and you eat a lot of food, you get soft. But if you don't do that, you don't get bigger.
Exactly.
So it's like one of those things. Like, when I was younger, it's like everybody would be like, kind of like looking at me like this guy's a fucking marshmallow man. My nickname was the marshmallow guy.
But you knew what you were doing.
I was like, man, I'm just biding my time because the mass is coming, so
yeah,
it's like everybody wants to get big, but nobody wants to lose their abs.
Yeah, well, dude, I look back in 2014, man, like I guess that was like my second year bodybuilding.
Yeah. I
think I hit like 314 pounds.
Yeah.
And it was not good. Like it was not a pretty I'm 315 pounds right now. So
Way different. Yeah.
we're a lot different, man. Like so
Yeah.
much different. Didn't have abs back then, that's for sure. Right. But you got exactly. I think you're 100% right. And you know what? One thing I'm noticing too, like kind of like sidetracking a little bit, but this is like the least amount of food I've ever had to eat to hold like 315 like I am now. And I'm on like no drugs.
Yeah.
Like I'm only eating
It's
like
weird.
250 grams of rice a meal.
Yeah. It's weird how that happens. I mean, like, I noticed that too. That's kind of what I was alluding to a little bit. It's like once you force fed for a long time, you have that mass, you can eat less.
Yeah.
You know,
Doesn't take as much to keep it.
yeah, exactly. But it takes a lot to build it to get there initially. Because I think what it is let's say you're like fucking 200 pounds and you want to go 300. That's like a massive change in your body size, right? So your
Like
your
it's like
body is
6 years fastest.
yeah, your body is used to being around 200. So that's its like natural set point. So trying to go to 210, 220, 250, 280, 300, it's trying to pull you back constantly towards your 200. But once you get there and you've reached 300 and you're kind of hanging out around there for a while, as soon as you cut down to say like 280 or 290, you feel light again.
Yeah.
So your body's adjusted, right? Because you've gotten used to like, yeah, it's putting more stress on your heart and your organs, but they adapt to it, right? That's why we do cardio. That's why we take care of like our
Well, dude,
health and
that's like
stuff
me
like that.
now. Like
Yeah,
I feel like I don't want to say I feel small, but I feel pretty limber, like for 315. And like I go out, take my dogs for like a half an hour, 40-minute walk, like no problem. Like
yeah,
not breathing heavy at all. And like they're big dogs, like we're going pretty quick, right? And I think just doing that like every single day, it just keeps my cardio up, keeps my body composition decent, and just keeps me feeling good, even at 315. Now, when I start pushing and I get back into like that 330 range, like,
yeah,
that's when I feel it, like, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I also know then that I'm pushing myself, and that feeling is usually correlated with building muscle.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like when my body is fighting me, I usually feel like I'm building muscle, and like I even get like you ever feel like you get growing pains?
yeah, yeah,
Like it's like your shit, like things just ache. It's almost for me, it almost feels like my bones are aching.
yeah.
And I always just say that like I'm just growing, like that's growing pains.
Like when you're 15 and 16, your legs start fucking aching.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You probably had that bad, eh?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
When did you get like tall? Were you like in high school? Or like
yeah.
early? Yeah.
Grade 11, grade 12, I hit 6'2".
Yeah. See, when I was in grade 9, I felt really fucking awkward because I had like long legs. But I just felt like I just fucking had like a growth spurt, and I'm like, I'm just tall and skinny. Like it felt so fucking like nothing I wore was like comfortable. I was like, what the fuck is this? You
So
know?
I always had, like, no matter how fast I grew, I always had big like quads and big glutes, like always.
Yeah, just genetics, eh?
Yeah, I was always wearing jeans that were bigger, like too big in the waist because my legs were big. But
Yeah.
that was the thing, even before bodybuilding, I had that issue.
Your parents have big legs too?
Yeah, my mom's
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Like for example, my grandfather, he was like the chief of police here.
Okay.
And back then they used to like ride the motorcycles and stuff a lot.
Yeah.
And he was the only cop in the whole police force that they had to custom make his like pants and his chaps for him because his legs and calves were so big.
Shit.
So those are the genetics that I got for the lower body.
Just has to wear fucking tights on his motorcycle. It's like, sorry, man. Pants aren't gonna fit. Gotta get the lycra.
Spandex suit, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man. Genetics does play a big role in bodybuilding, obviously. It's like you can't, like, fuck, man, you can't change your shape. Like realistically, like what your structure is what your structure is. You can just pound, you can add slabs of muscle to it, but that's about it.
Structure, I think structure is like 50% of bodybuilding.
Well, when you get on stage, it is. You know.
You see these guys, man. Some of these guys come in, they're jacked, they're peeled, but their structure sucks, and they just cannot beat guys that have better structure than them. Like they just can't. It just doesn't look as good on stage, right?
Yeah, yeah. I know that, and especially when you stand next to a guy with good structure, because you can look like you see it on Instagram. This guy with, he's peeled, he's huge, and just there's something that's a bit weird about his structure, but he still looks good on his own. And then
Yeah, man. Even if someone even got guys that have long torsos and short legs.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem for like most guys. I think like Nick Walker is probably on the cusp of that, but like he's just such a freak, like you don't really pay much attention to it.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like I like if you compare Nick and Hunter, for example, right? Like look at the Olympia last year. Like muscularity, they're pretty close. Like conditioning, like Nick was like 10 times better.
Yeah.
But like structurally, Hunter was 10 times better, and Hunter got the nod over Nick.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how much of a difference it makes. And I think that's how the judges see it as well.
Yeah. Well, I think so, man. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like you're going to be drawn to the more aesthetically pleasing physique. Like, even though it's bodybuilding, like for physique, for classic and bodybuilding, the rule always stands that the most aesthetic guy wins. Like, it's just, unless there's like some conditioning issue or whatever, it's like if you're structurally sound and you have enough muscle and you're in shape, probably going to win the show.
Yeah.
The way it goes, right? We got a fuck ton of questions, so let's get into a couple of these. Just want to say, you know, thank you guys for putting in good questions. And if you want us to answer questions on future episodes, drop us a comment in the YouTube section. It's preferable just because it helps with the algorithm more. And then also just making sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel and that you're liking it and hitting the fucking bell and doing all that shit, because if you guys aren't doing that shit, it's hard for us to grow. So we need that. And we're going to answer your questions. So it's a win-win. This is a good one. How do you handle negativity online on social media?
And for me, I just don't have the time for that. Like to even deal with that.
Yeah.
I honestly could care less about it. Like I get negative comments like now more than ever because I'm more popular than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say like they do not affect me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cause I know who I am. Like I know what I'm trying to do in my life, and I know my intentions are good. And you know, after that, like if you don't like me, that's fine. I don't expect everyone to like me, and I don't expect everyone to think that what I say is right, or you know, the posts I make are good posts, or the videos I put out are useful or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're never going to please everybody, and that's just the way I look at it. But you know, if that ever did start to affect me, I think I would just go back and look at all the positive feedback I get and focus on that, because like, you know, I have people send me DMs every day, you know, about how this helped them or how like, you know, how they like my content. Like I get that a lot now more than ever as well. And I mean, if I'm helping one person, you know, but 10 people are talking shit about me, I'd still rather be that way, you know, than the opposite.
Yeah.
So
it's funny how that happens though, because you could get 10 positive comments and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. You kind of brush it off. But then sometimes that one negative comment, you just like fixate on it. You know,
I guess I also am like pretty censored, I guess, in a sense with my posts. Like and not that I try to be, like I post what I want, what I feel like, but like, you know, when I look at my content, I'm like, I'm not really giving people much to be upset about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, besides like if they just like don't like personally like me or like what I put out, like, I mean, that's fine. Like somebody might think all my posts are stupid, like, but that's okay. But that's still who I am.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You might think I'm stupid, but it's not going to change me. Like, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it, like, honestly, I think it affected me more before, where I wanted, it's like, I almost felt like I wanted more people to like me, or if someone didn't, I was like concerned about that one person. Yeah. But usually these people are trolls anyways, you know. It's not even like people that are negative online, like they don't even show their face. They just have like, you know, a random account with like a troll name, and then they'll just post something just to try to upset you. So if you do get upset, like you're just letting them win. And I always try to remind myself of that. It's like, this is just a challenge.
Yeah.
You know?
Like every time that happens, like I'll go to that person's profile and they always have like no posts and like 2 followers. And I'm just like, look at this person, like has this account made just to purposely go around and talk shit to people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would much rather be me than them.
Yeah.
Like imagine, like I feel bad for them actually. Like I'm definitely not offended by what they're saying to me, because who are they? Like that's the other thing too. It's like, depending on who you are, I'll care more. Like if Flex Lewis was commenting on my stuff, being like, you know what, bro, like your shoulders are just too small, you should quit bodybuilding.
Shut it down, bro.
Like that would
don't get bothered with that pro debut.
Yeah, like that would hurt, like, you know. Yeah. But it's just these guys, you know, that have nothing going on. So it's like, why would your opinion ever matter to me when I'm doing way more with my life than you probably are?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, just you got to remember that those types of people that they're going to take their time out of the day to try to put someone else down. They're not happy. They hate themselves, and the only reason that they do that is because they're trying to bring you down with them, and that's
Yeah.
it. You know,
Just
but
parasites, bro. Just parasites.
yeah, and but the reality is it's going to happen to everybody at some point. Like everybody's going to get some kind of comment they don't like from somebody online, and the only thing you can do is brush it off because it's not gonna affect you at the end of the day unless you let it, you know.
Well, man, one of my favorite quotes is like, the only way to avoid criticism is to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're
Yeah.
afraid about like what people think about you, then you're just gonna have to do nothing at all, because no matter what you choose to do in life, like people are gonna like it, love it, people are gonna hate it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just it's the way it is.
And someone told me before, it's like if you're getting haters, then you're doing something right, because if no one's saying anything, then it's like you're kind of irrelevant. No one cares, you know.
Exactly.
So, yeah. What makes a client coachable?
If they're willing to do stuff that they don't want to do,
Yeah.
but they'll do it anyway for the sake of the result or what they say their goal is,
Yeah.
you know, for the sake of progress. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's okay to work with people. Obviously, like, you know, if someone doesn't want to eat potato, they want to eat rice instead, that's fine. Like we need to be able to find common ground, like, but like in a reasonable amount of time. Like, you know what I mean? So I would say that, and then, you know, just their ability to understand that like it's a process when you're trying to change your physique.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people these days people are just fooled and tricked, and it's not their fault, but because all these like advertisements for everything being so quick and like, you know, this is how you get this result fast, this is how you get this result fast. Like it's great when people can just disregard all that shit and just understand that when they get a coach like you or I, they're about to do things the right way because we understand the process, what it actually takes.
Yeah.
So when they just trust that and they're willing to just do what you say, I mean, that makes life a lot easier, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, you have to be, yeah, like you said, you have to be willing to listen and learn and communicate and execute. And that's basically it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about an ideal client there, right? And we have some of those, but then there's also clients that struggle with certain things. But I mean, you also need to be willing to work with people. Like that's your job as well. Like, you know what I mean? Not every client. I mean, if we only took the ideal clients, we probably wouldn't be making a whole lot of money. So, you know, but you can get people that you work with, and after 2 months, then they become an ideal client.
Yeah.
Because they understand that their efforts determine the result. You know, they don't just get results because they signed up with you.
Yeah, and I've made mistakes being a client and not being coachable, because in the past, I would not want to bother my coach. It's like, oh, my coach is so busy, I don't want to bother him. I just want to, you know. But if you don't communicate, then they don't know what the fuck is going on with you. So then when shit hits the fan, it's like, well, you didn't tell me about any of this other shit. So what am I going to do now? So it's like there's a balance, right? Because I'm not going to go to my coach with every little thing like, oh, I stubbed my fucking toe this morning. Like, doesn't matter. But if I'm struggling for whatever kind of reason, mentally or relationship, just fucking be open and honest. Like, hey, man, this is a hard week for me, but I'm getting this done, and here's my check-in, you know? Or it's like, hey, this was a great week, nothing to report. That's good too. Or it's like, man, this was a fucking terrible week. I fucked up on my diet. That shit happens too. But all of this is part of being coachable, because if you just don't say anything, you're just like, here's my pictures. It's like, oh, cool. You look like shit. Why now I got to go in there? Did you cheat on your diet? Yes, I did. That's annoying. You know, that's not being coachable. So just, it's better to be transparent, open, and honest, even if it's bad, than to try to like withhold like certain information because you think, oh, my coach is going to get mad at me. He's going to think I'm a bad client. No, he won't, or she won't. Your coach is only going to think you're a bad client if you don't talk to them. You know?
That's it.
Yeah. What's your stance on social media? We talked about that a little bit, but how long could you live without it?
Well, I mean,
in your
not
current
wrong, because
situation? Yeah,
that's how I run my business.
yeah, it's so tricky.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't, listen, perfect world, there, like in my opinion, there is no social media. I think it's terrible for us. I think it's really bad for our brains. I think it's bad for our attention spans. Like, I think it's bad
Yeah.
for our sleep. The list goes on,
Yeah.
like the negative. But the fact of the matter is, like, it's here. Like, it's here to stay. This is how businesses are ran now. This is how the world goes around. This is how we communicate. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I don't even really see the point in thinking about it.
Yeah.
To be
I mean,
honest.
like the way that I look at social media is, like you said, it's a business. Basically, like it's almost just like an open business ground, like a buy or sell Facebook page, essentially, you know. And everybody's on there promoting their own stuff, and you're on there promoting yours. And you might have people that you help to promote, and they help to promote you, and things like that. But at the end of the day, that's kind of all it is, you know.
It's just a massive network
Yeah,
where everybody in the world can interact
yeah,
and buy each other's things and all that stuff, right?
yeah.
So just the way the world now, it's how the world operates. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and
Like, if
without
you took
it,
social media out of the world right now,
yeah.
like a lot of shit would tank.
Oh man, it'd be so hard to like where and how would we get clients? We would have to just make basically all the people in our area. That's who we'd be able to work with, because we wouldn't have the ability to reach out wider across the world without social media. So it provides us with a huge opportunity to have that reach for more people to work with. So I don't think we could live for more than a week without it, since that's our main jobs. You know, it's like it's how we get clients. It's how we communicate with a lot of people. You know, it's how we build our own brand too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in this day and age, if there's a competitive bodybuilder, for example, who doesn't run on social media, even if he does well at a show, he can't get sponsors. He can't really build his business, because what's he going to do? Just be a personal trainer at his gym? Like,
Well,
you
dude,
know,
it would be detrimental, because think
yeah,
about it. Like, even if you're a good bodybuilder, you have no social media, and this has happened to guys before. Like, once you start doing good, if you don't start posting, people like trash you for it.
yeah,
Like, what is this guy doing? Like, it's so foreign to not take your social media seriously that's the way it is now. Like, if you're not doing that in your like realm, you know, which is, you know, bodybuilding and fitness is a perfect example, because we probably rely on social media more than any other industry, I would say.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because a lot of it has to do with self-promotion, and Instagram and Facebook are the perfect tools for that.
yeah,
You know, so I mean, I would love to be in the 90s and be a professional bodybuilder signed by Weeder and make my money that way, and guest appearances, but that dream is over, man.
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, like you gotta post selfies and shit now. It's it.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. Social media is our magazine now.
It is, man.
Should I train differently when I'm cutting?
Probably not.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, unless your recovery starts to be hindered by the fact, like, because you're lowering calories and increasing cardio, you might have to lower training volume.
yeah,
But that would probably be the only adjustment that I would think about making.
yeah, yeah. And intensity should always stay high. Volume could come down if you need to. You can always add different intensity techniques, maybe. You know, like I think, you know, your basis of training will be the same. Like, you're still going to train hard as you can, heavy as you can. The only difference maybe would be, yeah, like if you're trying to maybe dial it in, you can add more intensity techniques and reduce the volume overall. That could be one method. But otherwise, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to change your training very much, pretty much ever. You know, like we spoke a little bit yesterday about like changing your training split, but like it's still kind of all the same training. You know what I mean? Just organized in a different way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like the volume overall probably won't be much different.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure most people are aware of the myth of, like, you know, doing higher reps of being, you know, better for burning fat, whatever. Like, obviously that's not true. And it makes more sense to train the way that you build muscle when you're in a caloric deficit, because you're trying to maintain muscle. So yeah.
Yeah,
It's
don't
not
be
even really, it's
recommended.
not even really like my workout isn't designed to burn calories. It's designed to build muscle, regardless of if I'm in a caloric surplus or deficit. Right.
Yeah, nobody should ever have it in their head to pick up a weight and be like, I'm about to burn fat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That shit, like,
You're burning fat literally from your diet and maybe a little bit from your cardio.
yeah,
And
like you,
but
yeah,
mostly just from having that muscle mass. So
exactly. Like take away weight training from the fat loss like ideology at all. Like understand that your diet and the cardio you're doing is what's taking care of the fat loss. That's
yeah,
what's going to control. That's it, because that's just energy balance, and
yeah,
those are the things that control that. And obviously, like your daily activity, you should, like, if you're a very active person, take that into consideration. But like go in the gym and train to build muscle,
yeah,
like no matter what. Even if you're only maintaining it, still train to build it, because
yeah,
that's how you're going to maintain it the best way.
yeah. I think maybe the only time that you want to maybe change it a little bit is like maybe the last 2 weeks
Yeah.
or whatever. Just reduce your volume a little bit, reduce your intensity slightly, just in terms of like the weights you're using, and that's it. Everything else keep it the same. If I eat more than 40 grams of protein per sitting, does some of it go to waste?
Well, we need more information than that to
Yeah,
discuss that. Like how much do you weigh, right? Like if you're eating 40 grams of protein 6 times a day, it's 240 grams, but you weigh 150 grams, or you weigh 150 pounds,
you really
then yeah,
fucking
you're probably eating too much protein, bro. Like,
yeah, yeah,
but if you're eating 240 grams and you weigh 230 pounds, I would say, yeah, you're probably good to go.
I used to hear from a coach that if you wanted to be, let's say whatever your weight is, but whatever weight you want to be from there is how many grams of protein you eat. So let's say whatever, you're 190 or you're 150, but you want to be 225, you're going to eat 225 grams of protein a day.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Not like major, like too. I always have thought about it this way, right? So like, especially in growth phases, and this is why like this whole like carbs are protein sparing. Like I'm sure that is like, true to like a certain extent, right? But at the same time, like I think about it like this: like if I'm trying to gain muscle and I'm already 300 pounds, right? I have a lot of muscle already. You know, amino acids are being used for a lot more than just like skeletal muscle.
Yeah.
Like, like there's obviously a lot of organs using them and everything like that. So I need to eat enough protein to support what I have, right? Also take the weight training into consideration that I'm doing to recover the muscles. Like I'm weight training 5 days a week. My muscles are constantly recovering. So there's going to be protein that's utilized for that. And then if I want to build more tissue, like more tissue than I have, I need to give my body extra protein so that there's amino acids available to build the new tissue.
Yeah.
Right. So in my mind, like, yeah, you probably need more protein than what you weigh if you're trying to get bigger. I really believe that.
Definitely. And I think, people like with this, people are getting maybe too concerned with the grams of protein like per serving. I think it's like, if you look at it more over, so basically like what we're trying to do is like when you're eating like a source of protein, like let's say it's a chicken breast, you have like a certain amount, you have a certain amount of amino acids from that chicken breast. So the protein breaks down to amino acids, and you have a sequence of those amino acids. So it's like, tryptophan and leucine and glycine and whatever sequence of amino acids comes from that chicken breast. You have specific ones that are going to be higher and specific ones that are going to be lower. So I think it's important to have a mixture of proteins throughout your day, more so than like, oh, I need to get 40 grams of protein every meal. I'm just going to do chicken. Yeah, sure, you could do that, but you're going to end up with a lot of specific amino acids, and you're going to have maybe less of specific amino acids. So when your body then goes, okay, think of it like playing Scrabble. Like you have all your letters there and you're trying to make a word. If you're missing a letter, you can't make that word. So it's very similar with amino acids. If we're low on certain amino acids, that's why there's essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. So the essential ones, they're essential because you have to consume them. Your body can't make them from anything else. Non-essential amino acids your body can make from other proteins, other amino acids, other types of macronutrients can break it down, create amino acids. So if you're trying to get like, oh, what's the perfect amount of protein for me? just vary up your protein sources. You don't need to eat quite so much. Maybe if you're trying to get 40 grams of protein per sitting and it's all from chicken, just do 30 grams of protein and have it from different sources. See how that works from you. And then you can always increase it, because there's no way for us to answer for sure, like, oh, how much of this protein am I consuming is going to muscle? How much of it is it going to quote unquote waste? Like, some of your food is going to go to waste. You're going to shit it out, shit something out at some point when you eat food consistently. So don't be worried about what's going to waste. Worry about what's actually being used for protein, for muscle protein synthesis. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
I think a lot of people these days, just based off the questions I get, especially on like TikTok and stuff like that, are just so like consumed by the details before they even like start the basics.
Yeah.
It's like people would just want, because there's so much information out there. It's like people try to gather as much as they can because they want to find a perfect plan like right away.
Yeah.
And it's like most of you guys literally just need to train hard 4 or 5 days a week and eat like 5 meals a day.
Yeah. And then when we first started training, we probably weren't even counting protein. It was just like, okay, I'm going to have some egg whites for breakfast and some chicken breast for lunch and some protein.
People weren't even counting macros when we first started.
Yeah, we didn't even know what that was.
No one was talking about how much protein, carbs, and fats they were taking in, like from a number standpoint. It was just like, here's your fucking meal plan. Like you're eating 6 ounces of chicken, then you're eating 7 ounces of steak, and then you're eating 6 ounces of chicken again, then 7 ounces of steak again. And before you go to bed, you're having 2 scoops of protein powder. Like that's it. That's your day. Like, you know. And
people used to prep for shows without even weighing things. It'd just be like 1 chicken breast, 1 small baked potato. It's like that's your, that's your unit of measurement. And people would still get in shape, of course, but this is like getting down to the details, like very fine details. You don't always need to do that. Sometimes you just need to stick with something for a while. Don't even worry about the numbers. Just do it for a while and see what happens, Yeah, man. Like, don't be worried about your protein absorption when you're 165 pounds. Like, like just worry about improving in the gym and getting all your meals in. And hopefully your mom will help you with the grocery bill. Like, a lot of the times, even if I get a new diet plan from my coach, I'm not looking at the calories. I'm literally just what foods. It's like I'm just tracking the foods. I'm not looking at the protein or the carbs or the fats, because it's just another thing that gets in my head where it's like, oh no, now I'm eating less than 4,000 calories. I'm going to get smaller. I don't even care. I don't even look at the numbers. I'm just like, the measurements of the food, that's what I'm eating, and that's all that really matters. So yeah. What are your thoughts on waist trainers?
Waist trainers, I mean, I don't have anything against them. I mean, for me, like even in prep, like I got to eat too much food to be fucking wearing those things. Like honestly, like I find they just like kind of affect my digestion.
Yeah.
People say it's like, oh, it just reminds me to keep my waist tight. Like, just remind yourself, like, to keep your waist tight. Like, and you're not gonna be able to have your waist trainer on stage, so like, better get used to keeping your abs tight without it.
Yeah.
I don't find them as common anymore anyway. Like I think they kind of had their time, and it even seems like every now and then I'll see a girl with one on, but I don't see people wear them very often.
Yeah, they're more prominent at Pure Muscle for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wore it. I wore one for a show I did back in 2018.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wore it all night.
I used to wear it when I would sleep. I would wear it when I would sleep. That's when I would usually wear it.
That's what I did. Yeah, I wore it when I slept, and I think I also started wearing it during cardio too. Yeah, I think because I'd put Vasoburn and I'd wrap it. But I remember, like sleeping. It works if you have an empty stomach when you're sleeping, but if you eat a big meal and try to go to bed with it on, you're not going to sleep.
Yeah, that's same with me. I'd wear it sleeping, and then I'd go do morning cardio with it on.
Yeah.
I just don't think it does shit. I don't see how it could do anything.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to squeeze yourself to be smaller.
Yeah, I mean, like it worked for me, but would I have had the same waist if I didn't use it at all? How do you know that? There's no way to answer that. So I don't know. I think if you think it helps you, then maybe it does in some way. And if you don't need it, then that's fine too. I just started using one 2 days ago because when we were moving in, My girl had an extra one. It's not a pink one, so don't worry. But yeah, no, I just started using it during cardio because I need like to remind myself to hold it in. Like she was starting to be like, why are you staying there? letting your belly relax. I'm like, oh shit. You know.
You know what? I'm bad for it too, bro. Like my gut hangs out way more than it should.
Dude, in the morning I wake up, I'm like, look at this waist. I don't even have a waist. And by meal 6, I'm like, don't even fucking look at me. Like,
Oh, dude, I know. Like I'll eat like my last meal, and then before I go to bed, I always like hit a few poses, and
yeah,
like it's hard to flex my abs. Like
it
I can
is.
feel something pushing against like my abdomen.
Yeah. I forget what coach it was, but I think it was like Rolly's coach or something like that. But I remember seeing that when he was doing his carb load phase, like on peak week, he would not be allowed to eat the next meal unless he was able to do 10 vacuums. So like every time before you eat, 10 vacuums. And that way, I guess you just keep training it to get tighter and tighter. Because like, yeah, because once you eat, it's really hard to pull it in, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think if you only do it first thing in the morning, when you're like empty, then you don't ever have an experience working on it with some food in your stomach. Like when you go on stage, you're not, fasted. You've had like probably a couple meals in you. So it's good to probably, practice throughout the day as well. But yeah, I've been slacking on that for sure. Yeah, I would say the actual vacuum and waist, like training your abdominals, like actually training your waist will probably do more than like just wearing the waist trainer.
I agree, 100%.
It might help you lose like some water in that area though, but yeah. What rules do you make for yourself every day? Do you have a specific set of rules for your day?
I mean, I get my meals in.
The meals always have to get in. Yeah, that's a
I
rule.
wake up at 7. I go to bed at 11.
So you're strict with your sleep time and your wake
Yeah, and
time.
I usually try to be productive from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
you
I
always train at the same time every day.
Yeah, usually around 3:30.
Yeah. So we're probably like similar. Like the rules just have to do with like scheduling. Like meal 1's at this time, meal 2's at this time, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I try to have sex as much as I can too.
Yeah. When's the best time of the day? Morning, evening,
like
or bad?
For us, it's been a lot of evening in our relationship, but like we're kind of realizing that we like to have sex earlier in the day when we don't have as much food in our stomachs. Like it just seems to be better and be more enjoyable. So there's been some good daytime sex going on lately.
Yeah, but what
I'd rather daytime sex
before the gym though. It's a no go. That's a rule.
Before the gym. Yeah, I never don't usually do it before the gym.
Yeah,
like it crosses my mind, but then I'm just like, it can't take away from my workout. I can't do it. Like I'm like, fuck that. Like so, like I'll be going to try, and then I'll catch myself. I'm like, okay, never mind. Just save it till later.
Yeah, we've done it a couple times, and she's like, well, oh, like what's wrong? Like, are you gonna finish? I'm like, I gotta go train legs soon. Like, if I finish now, that leg day is gonna suck.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna literally feel lazy. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, dude, it puts you in parasympathetic mode, right?
It does. Yeah.
And it's like then you got to go train. Like you got to try to get that back. Like
yeah.
Dude, if you can like, so do you have sex and then like not finish?
Yeah, I've done it a couple times. She's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, I don't want to be lazy at the gym.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to have that discipline. I don't think.
It was a good test of discipline for sure. Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, usually it's like between 5 and 6. Like that's the best time.
I watch a podcast now. It's like MMA guys.
Yeah.
And they're always talking about not nutting and like not jerking off for like weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And they say like how much it enhances your like just like aggression and like your focus, like all these things. Like they call it like your chi.
Yeah.
And like they're joking around about it, but like they're actually doing it too. Like they're kind of serious about it.
Yeah.
And they'll even like one thing that they'll do is like get to the point where they're about to finish and then they don't let themselves do it.
Yeah.
And apparently it's supposed to like you do that and then like you go work out, it's supposed to be like pretty good.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely something to that. Probably like on an evolutionary subconscious kind of basis. It's
Yeah.
like if I can just fucking jerk off and I don't need to like go and like, you know, do anything to like reproduce essentially. It's like, well, why would I then? You know, it's like a lazy kind of mentality, but you know, obviously nothing wrong with it, but like there's fucking, you know, there's a line, you know, like jerking off 5-6 times a day, like you're probably not going and training your fucking ass off in that case, you know.
Oh, fuck that anyway, man. I don't know. That's like honestly like kind of weird to me. Like I don't get that shit. Like,
But I remember there was this one bodybuilder, he turned pro 2014, he was fucking 270 on stage. And he was like, yeah, man, I jerk off like 4, 5, 6 times a day. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's like, yeah, man, like 3 grams of fucking test, you know, it's just like, yeah.
that would be like, that's like a workout, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But he never had like a girlfriend or anything. So it's like, maybe there's a correlation there, you know?
yeah. And yeah, I think if you're jerking off 6 times a day, you don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I can kind of probably see why you might not have a girlfriend. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so rules. Yeah, so the rule is don't jerk off, don't fuck before the gym. Save it for later. If you do, don't nut.
Yeah, do your best.
Yeah, yeah. When I was in university, a buddy of mine was doing like he's like, okay, I'm gonna do like no nut November or whatever. Like he did it for like 6 months or some shit. But he was like talking about how, I don't know if this is true, but there's like a peak. Like if you just don't jerk off or have sex at all, there's like a peak testosterone cycle. So like I think it'd be like every 10 days or every 7 days. But anyways, so he would tell me, he's like, bro, I'm peaked today, like testosterone's at its max. So we'd go to the university gym and like hit PRs that day. Because I was starting my cycle back then too. So I'm like, okay, I'll shoot up. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm good today. I'm gonna hit a PR. He's like, yeah, me too. He was such a natural guy. Just like he didn't jerk off for a week. So he's like, I'm ready, like my testosterone.
I'm glad we don't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
My test is just high all the time.
Yeah, that's it. All right. How do you handle people that don't like you or your lifestyle? How do you handle people in your life that maybe don't support your lifestyle?
Those people aren't in my life.
True.
Like, fuck.
They don't last long. Yeah, they don't last long. Yeah. Once they
Yeah.
realize that this is something that you're not going to give up on, they're just like, peace out, bro. You know?
It's just not negotiable. Like, especially at this point, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't have time to have those people around. Like I can't, you know, like I can't be distracted from what I'm doing. I can't afford to lose a day. Like that's my mentality. So
yeah,
it's just, yeah, it's just not, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, like it sucks when you lose friends, but I think if you make big decisions for yourself, like you're gonna commit to something 100%. It's just a natural thing that like people will fall off.
Yeah, and you know what, like to me, like I don't really consider even like losing friends. Like, you know, I think people just come and go in your lifetime. You know what I mean? Like people are in your life for periods of time, like when it's kind of convenient or when like just when your life lines up with that person's life. You know what I mean? And a lot of those people just obviously don't stick around, especially when you go from kind of being like somewhat of a normal person, like I was back, say when I was 19, 20. Then I get into bodybuilding, and yeah, these people just kind of fall away because I'm not convenient to their lifestyle anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So like they don't want to, they're not interested in the same things as me because I'm kind of like just moving on. And that's perfectly fine. Now, like some of those people have stayed in my life. And like I consider those people friends because, you know, like the personal relationship we had was obviously more than just like social outings. You know what I mean? Like I still talk to those people, still get to see them like maybe once or twice a year, like when it lines up. Like I consider those people friends, but I think that's just part of it. Like you're not going to be successful if you try to keep everyone around or care to, because it's going to take so much of your effort to try to please all these people when you're trying to go do something else. Like,
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. You can only have so many people in your life, and there's only going to be so many people in your close circle, you know? So it's okay to have people that are outside of your close circle that maybe they don't have the same lifestyle. That's fine. But generally, like your close circle are going to be the people that support you the most. So you just focus on them, and anybody that doesn't like your lifestyle or whatever, just let them go. what I would say, like if I see like a friend or like, if my girl or like if somebody is like still in their life, and I'll just be like, is this person like serving you? And if they're not, it's like, oh, I got to get back to so and so. I'm like, are they serving you? And if it's a yes, then get back to them. And if it's a no, then you have no obligation to get back to them. Just let it go.
Yeah.
There's no reason to try to hold on and continue conversations and try to pull people into your life if they don't serve your purpose. So that's all. Do you believe in taking cheat meals during prep or cutting phase, and why?
Well, I mean, it would be up to my coach. But
Yeah.
I know, like, for me, so like when you start a prep or you start like a cut, like you have no business having a cheat meal until you're lean, like
Yeah.
until you see significant results, because like it's not going to help you. Like, I understand, like, if you're on a hard diet for 3 or 4 weeks, like, if you just need a cheat meal for a mental break, like that's okay. Like, just implement that. You know what I mean? Maybe set it up so that like you structure your diet that week around that cheat meal somewhat, maybe do a bit of extra cardio, shit like that, right? And that's only for a cheat meal that doesn't actually have like a purpose towards the goal. I think when you're shredded, and sometimes like we know that you can get so lean so fast that sometimes it just keeps going, and like you'll just lose weight, and we need to take ourselves out of that. Sometimes it's a good idea to go have like a really high calorie meal with a lot of fats, just to slow down fat loss. But you got to understand like how long you need to be dieting for strictly to even get to that point. Like you're talking 12, 16 weeks of dieting to even get to that point.
Yeah, you got to earn it first.
Yeah, you really got to earn it, and it needs to be utilized as a tool, not as like a relief, right?
I think the issue with cheat meals on a prep or cutting phase is that you start expecting them, and then you start like obsessing about them. That can be like a big problem. Like if it's the way that I would do like a contest prep from say like 16 weeks and definitely 12 weeks onwards, I just put cheat meals as not an option anymore, because if they're an option, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what am I gonna have? Oh wow, I worked really hard this week. Maybe I'll have an extra. It's like those types of things, they can lead into a slippery slope. But if you just say like, well, I'm on prep right now, I want to win this show, so it's not an option, then it's fucking not even a thought. And then if your coach was like, hey man, like, okay, you're gonna have a cheat meal today, it's like, oh wow, like I didn't expect this. I wasn't like obsessing about it, so I can just enjoy it. Versus like fucking every second of the day you're just thinking about food. Because once you start doing that, it's so hard to get out of it. Once you're looking at like the food pages and like all the food porn, it's like, bro, that's just like, oh my god, like it's an addiction. It's, you start obsessing.
I've only asked for a cheat meal twice. I asked for a cheat meal like 2 times in my last prep. So the first was at the very beginning of prep, and it was because of COVID, my show got like extended 2 more weeks. So I went from being 16 weeks to 18 weeks out. And I think it was my girlfriend had something going on. We had like celebrate something. So I just messaged my coach and I'm like, listen, like I do not care about having a cheat meal. So if you say no, I'm like, it's totally okay. I'm like, but because this just happened with the show and this event is going on, like, can I go out and have a meal with my girlfriend? And he was like, oh yeah, no problem. Like we got an extra 2 weeks. Like it doesn't matter. Right. The other time I asked for a cheat meal, I actually had to call my coach, like, because I was kind of like I was like fucking maybe like 9 or 10 days out. And this was like, I was eating frequent cheat meals at this time because like we were just trying to hold my weight like 262 to 265. Because if I ate clean for 2 or 3 days straight, my weight would start going under 260 and I would literally look like a swimmer. Right. So I literally called Ron and I'm like, okay, dude, I was 262 this morning and I was like, it's 7 p.m. on 260. So I was losing weight throughout the day as I was eating. So he was just like, yeah, go get a fucking jumbo pizza right now. Like, tell me the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then the next morning, my weight comes up to like 261. Like took in like 3,000 calories in like a sitting. Like, so like that is when your body needs a cheat meal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to earn it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like clean food was not going to cut it in that moment. Like, you know what I mean?
Earn your cheat meals. Don't expect them.
Yeah.
That should be the mentality. Do you have a mentor? If so, who is your mentor? We talked about a little bit before, but like specifically like more about coaches, but do you have someone who maybe he doesn't necessarily, or she doesn't necessarily like coach you, but maybe just someone that has taught you things along the way that you maybe look up to or see as a mentor?
Um, fuck, man. I guess like in a way, I mean, the only two people that come to mind as like mentors to me at this point in my life, or three people I'll say, is my coach Ron, because like I just like his whole career, like I know everything he's experienced, and like where he is now, and like the things he's done. Like I just kind of like it just makes me respect his opinion on things,
Yeah.
right? And his views on things. Um, and then Dorian will be another person because of just like again like the knowledge he's like acquired, right? And like he's just showed that through the people that he's helped. And like, I mean, you know this, he's one of the most generous people like that you could probably ever meet. Like, you know, the guy goes out of his way for people when he has no reason to. Like,
Yeah,
you know, and that's something I kind of like, you know, respect, and like I guess, you know, like I try to emulate that, right?
Yeah.
And then my stepdad as well, for sure, because like I mean my stepdad as a kid like taught me a lot about like just what it was to be a man, and like even like how to treat people, how to treat women, like you know what I mean. And he's really like smart and like business like savvy, like you know he's really into real estate, has a lot of real estate properties and stuff like that. So I guess I just like kind of like look up to him and what he has done, and like he's another person I want to emulate like on that side of things.
Yeah.
So that would be probably, that's who comes to mind right now. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, no, similar. Like my stepdad also, like when I was growing up, he was kind of the guy. And I remember like one of the things that he taught me when I was like young, like 7 or 8 or 9, the good idea, bad idea game. Before you do something, you ask yourself, is it a good idea or a bad idea? Because I would do bad ideas all the time when I was younger. Like I remember one day, I like called like 911 and just like fucking prank called them, and the cops show up and he's like, was that a good idea or a bad idea? I'm like, it's a bad idea,
Should I?
Another time they went out for the day, and so the whole day I just was like the front steps, like leading up to the house, like there's like probably like 5 or 6 steps, and I just kept packing snow onto them like all day long until it was a giant slope. But then nobody could go up the stairs to get into the house. So when they came home, I was just like going down on my toboggan, like, what the fuck is this? Like, was this a good idea or a bad idea? I'm like, I thought it was a good idea. They're like, it's not. It's a bad idea because now no one can get into the house. So it's like,
it's kind of funny you say that, because I feel like this is something I've like recently started doing lately. Like, I tend to make drastic decisions, like
yeah,
like pretty serious ones too. Like I'll get something in my head. Like I've made some poor investments this year, for example, right? Nothing crazy, like nothing that like really hurt me or anything like that. But like I could have more money now than I do. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something like I've really, even in the last couple of weeks, like I need to start doing that more before I jump into things like I tend to do. Just like, take my time with it, sit on it for a bit, like, because oftentimes after I make these decisions, I realize like a week or two after I shouldn't have did it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to learn like from that, like, you know what I mean? Especially as now like becoming more of like, and like adult, I guess, like, those decisions matter and they're going to affect like the rest of my life. Right. So
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, like, yeah, it's part of being an adult and maturing is like, you don't have necessarily anybody else that you can help make your decisions. Like, you can discuss it with your girl. That's pretty much it. Like, you're not really getting any advice from your parents anymore. It's like, can you really trust what your friends think? Like, it's hard you got to be the one that makes a decision. So, I think about it like, because I'm a Libra, I'm like thinking about it like the balancing scales. It's like, it's kind of like, it's like teetering, and you're trying to make that decision. So it's like, okay, is this a good idea or a bad idea? It's like once that scale tips for me, it's like that's what I'm going with. But sometimes it takes me a while to get there, because I'm like, fuck, I can't make up my mind, and it could be something trivial, but it's like, yeah, you got to think about these things, right? They have an impact on your future. That's why. And yeah, the more responsibility you take on in your life, the more that those decisions matter. right? So
yeah, it just comes with experience. But I think like something to remember too is like most things are not as good as they seem to be.
yeah,
You know, like when it comes down to it, like when you first look at something or first get an idea, like you're automatically going to think like the best outcome. Like, you know, if like, because obviously if you're going to do something, like there's going to be a positive side to it that's attracting you to do it, right? But like you just got to remember that like it might not go your way. Like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta like don't only think about the positive side of something. Like think about, okay, what could be the negative that could come out of this?
yeah,
Like
true.
what if that happens? Like, you know what I mean? Like and just kind of really go through it. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah, because you don't, when you're a kid, you literally do not think about the negative. You're just
Yeah,
like, oh, this sounds like fun.
exactly.
And you just do it. So
Yeah.
that's, you know, as a man, we tend to be more impulsive. So that's just something that we have to realize and be aware of. And so we can make, like, we're not always going to make the right decision, but at least we can make, more times than not, we can make the better decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in bodybuilding, I've had probably three main mentors, like BLP, Benoit Lapierre, and then Ben Pekulski, and then Dorian, who I'll probably just work with Dorian for the rest of my career, you know. So I think it's important to have a mentor, someone who you look up to, that it's like you just need to have someone to look up to, you know, someone who's done more than you, or someone that has the almost just like the aura, like what they do, what they strive to be is also something that you want to strive to be, you know, like the values, the discipline, the work ethic, like the personality, like all these things kind of come into play, right? What gives you the motivation to keep going? We did this one before, right? Being
Yeah.
homeless,
Um,
being
don't
homeless
want
and poor.
don't want to be homeless. Yeah.
uh how should I consume fats when using GH with insulin?
I'd be more worried about my carbs.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you should just eat your fats. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
at 50 to 100 grams of fat a day, depending on what you're trying to do, I would say.
yeah. I think people think that just because you're taking GH with insulin, that somehow fats are gonna be like worse to consume, but
Dude, you're
those just stay
directly
the same.
injecting insulin.
Yeah,
Like you're not swallowing it and digesting it and got to worry about the fats like slowing down the digestion of the insulin.
yeah,
Like, you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like once that insulin's in your body, like it's all about the glucose from there.
That's right. And you have to realize that your body already, for someone who's not type 1 diabetic, your body already is producing enough insulin to deal with the carbs and the fats and the proteins that you're taking in. So using GH and insulin exogenously is just enhancing the absorption. It's not preferentially changing, like you're not all of a sudden then going to store more fat as fat. No, it's going to work all the same. It's just giving your body a little extra assistance. So you just keep the fats the same. You, like Morgan said, you just continue to monitor your carbohydrate intake and
This person doesn't need the insulin.
keep it simple. Yeah, you don't need the insulin then.
You don't need the insulin.
Okay, so here's an interesting one, because when I talk to this isn't someone that this is just me, but you know, because I talked to Victor Black, and his model goes against what normal, I guess, within this tribe of bodybuilding, the normal, I would say, like the mode of like, or like the sequence of introducing performance enhancing drugs generally is like you start with test, and then you add some GH, and then you add some insulin. You kind of go like step by step. He believes that you kind of just should start with a little bit of everything. What do you think?
Like when you start a cycle?
When you start a cycle, you start with like the lowest dose of test, the lowest dose of GH, the lowest dose of insulin, the lowest dose of fucking like everything, like telmisartan. Like he basically wants you to start like the laundry list out the get-go, but at really low doses, and you just slowly, gradually increase them over time instead of doing blast and cruise or cycles.
I think that in order to grow muscle tissue, your body needs an anabolic environment.
Yeah.
It's almost like all these boxes need to be ticked at the same time for your body to be like, okay, gonna put on new tissue right now in this moment, right? So I think with the drugs, I think those drugs just elevate your hormones to a certain level where growing more muscle after you're already 315 pounds lean is possible, right?
Yeah.
So I prefer just to, like, if I'm doing a cycle, it's going to be 750 tests, 300 EQ, 200 MPP. I'm starting at that dose.
Yeah.
I want my levels to get to where they need to be right away, so my body can metabolize the 7,000 calories I'm going to take in and recover from the 5 days of training that I'm going to do.
So you're going to start with 750 tasks and say 300 EQ. That's just starting cycle. Instead of what Victor said, which is like you're going to start at like, I don't know, 200. You're like 200 tasks, 2 IUs of GH, 2 IUs of insulin, and then I'm going to do that for like, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks. Then I'm going to increase to 300 milligrams a test, 2 or 3 IUs of GH, 2, maybe 4 IUs of insulin, and then do that for another 4 to 6 weeks. Then I'm going to go to 400 milligrams a test, 2 to 3 IUs of GH, maybe 4 to 6 IUs of insulin. So it's like
a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like when I had this discussion with him, it sounds great because the whole idea is like, oh, now you can do this for 20 years and have no health issues. Like that sounds ideal.
No games either.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. But like, I don't know, man. How can you deny what bodybuilders have been doing for 30 years?
Exactly right. And we can say this has like with training and diet and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like people are constantly trying to reinvent these things and say like they have the new best way. And I'm not saying his way doesn't work because I don't know the details, obviously. But to me, that's just like keeping like, okay, you're gonna do this for 4 weeks, and you're gonna do this for another 4 weeks, and then you're 12 weeks before your doses, in my opinion, are where they need to be for any significant change to happen. Like something like that could probably be very effective for like a beginner or like maybe someone doing their second or third cycle or something like that. But like when you're already in the shit, and like I know what my body needs to be on to grow to more muscle tissue, and it's more than 200 milligrams of test a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I think too, like, okay, you can say it's healthier and all that, but maybe, like I think it's more about how someone's body reacts to a certain compound. Like 500 milligrams of test can be nothing for some guys, and it can also make other guys break out in all kinds of acne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like to say that is very person to person anyway. I think what it comes down to with drugs is just finding the ones that give you the benefits you're looking for, but mitigate the negatives. Yeah. Like, and that's where I think like drug selection and dosage comes into place, because I think those are different for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's the argument of like slow and steady wins the race. He used the analogy of the tortoise and the hare, like slow and steady, or like you sprint and then you take a break, you sprint, you take a break. Like I can see the argument both ways, and it's hard to be like, all right, this is how we're gonna do things now. Like we're just gonna, it's like we know what we're doing, and it's not something that needs to be over complicated. The only reason why people have health issues is because they push things for too long, too high. So it's like if you're making good progress on 750 tests and 300 EQ, you don't really necessarily need to go higher than that, because you can just take a break. Once you've done your 10, 12-week cycle, you take a break and you just do it again. And you just increase your food, or you just train harder. It's like,
I think people need the time off, and they just need to keep working hard during the cruise periods, like to maintain their muscle. You know what I mean?
I think it's people that are scared to come off at all.
Exactly. And also one thing that I don't think is talked about enough is people using oral steroids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think again, like those are things that you can probably get away with more so early in your career. But when I still see guys that are like 35, 40 years old, and there's like Anadrol in their cycle,
Yeah.
and they're doing it for 12 weeks on top of test and EQ and DECA that are also at high doses, I'm just like, you're just like pouring gasoline on a fire that's already 20 feet hot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't need it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I never even consider taking orals in the off season. You know what I mean? To me, orals have a temporary benefit. They only work while you're on them. So when you stop them, whatever you're getting from it, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
Right. So they make sense for prep.
Yeah.
Before a show, they absolutely make sense. But I just don't see, I think guys, they're getting up to being huge. We know carrying the weight's unhealthy. We know doing the test, EQ, DECA, Primabol, Masteron is not great for us. But when you're taking those things and then throw the worst types of steroids on top of it, which are the orals, right? And guys are taking Anadrol and D-ball, so they got to take more Arimidex. And we know the AI suck for us too, right? I think that's where the real problems are happening.
Yeah, I agree. Because with orals, it's so easy to just be like, oh, 50, 100 a day. It's like, if you're doing 100 a day, that's 700 a week. That's a fuck ton of fucking gear, man. And that's
like
all,
a hard drug.
yeah, that's all oral. Exactly.
That's going through your liver.
Yeah.
Right.
Like 700 milligrams a week of an oral is way harsher for your body than 700 milligrams of an injectable. So I agree, man. Like I used to like them, the D-ball pumps and all that stuff in my early 20s. But I feel better ever since I cut them out.
Yeah, dude.
You like 4 to 6 weeks before a show, use a little bit, and then that's it.
And dude, how many guys I talk to are like, man, I don't know how you can eat so much, like this and that, and they're not making progress because they can't eat enough, but they're taking 50 milligrams of Anadrol every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, that's why you can't eat. Like
exactly.
You're choosing drugs over food, and the drugs aren't doing it for you anyway. So drop the drugs, eat your fucking food. Like stop being a pussy. Like that's what it is.
Get out of the mindset that's like, oh, what's this compound gonna do for me?
Dude, I'm so happy I'm not like that, because I see that so much. And how many guys message me like, what do I got to take to get big and stuff like that? I'm like, and I have to give everyone the same speech.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like by the looks of your Instagram profile, probably don't need any steroids, honestly, to make progress. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you probably just need to actually try to get on a diet.
Yeah. Dude, I bet you, like, if you go to Kuwait, they don't fucking tell you anything that they're giving you. They're probably just like, it's shot time. You just roll up your sleeve, they come in here, they do it, they leave. I guarantee you they're not like, here's your cycle, it's fucking 300 milligrams of EQ and 400 milligrams of this. They're just like, here's your fucking blend, let's go,
Yeah, dude. Like I just think of drugs like, okay, this is just something I have to take. Like,
it's almost like the more you know, the worse it is. Because then you start obsessing, it's like, well, but I need to be on tren because tren is more anabolic than testosterone, and anavar is more anabolic than, it's like, none of that matters at all. Oh, should I take DECA or should I take NPP? Because some people say DECA gives you, it's like, just pick one. And if you feel good, use that. And if you don't feel good, just check it off the list of things you're not going to use again. Because I've made this mistake. I've been like, oh, okay, I'm going to use some D-ball and some DECA, and then I blow up like a water balloon and feel like shit. I'm like, this can't be right. This can't be real DECA or D-ball. I see these other guys using it and they look fucking hard as nails and look huge. Why do I look like a water buffalo? I'll try it again. Okay, let me try it. Second. Let me try it again. This time it'll be different. Fucking moon face, fucking acne. It's like the third time's got to be the charm. It's like, when are you going to realize that they just don't work well for you?
Yeah, or thinking that like you need something. Like need, like you're trying to get big, so you need DECA.
I need DECA. It's a
you're taking testosterone, so you need Arimidex.
Yeah.
Like all these things are the problems, these misconceptions that drugs, that these hormones are like supplements that you buy at the store. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't, like, there's no stacks, there's no things that go with other things. You take something, it affects your blood work. Yeah. Right. You make note of that and you make adjustments accordingly. It takes a lot of time and experience, but like, start fucking small. Like keep it as simple as you can. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are anabolic steroids you're injecting in your body. If you're taking steroids and you're not gaining muscle, like, you suck at everything else.
100%.
You gotta worry about everything else. Trust me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Don't overcomplicate the steroids and fucking. I mean, I do appreciate the questions because they're good questions. But I still think, like, out of anything to have a conversation about in terms of bodybuilding progress, that should be the last thing. You know,
Absolutely.
and less of a focus. You know, it's like it doesn't. You don't need to know like the ins and outs and the whys of exactly everything you're taking, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you know what it's doing or not, because it's doing what it's supposed to do. All you got to worry about is how hard you're training and fucking how focused you are at achieving your goal. That's more important.
Yeah, like, worrying about drugs is for like the most advanced people, because everything else is so locked in.
Yeah.
Like their diet is perfect. They know exactly how to train. Their recovery's on point. That's when playing around with drugs makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because then those are the variables that are going to matter.
Exactly.
Right. But you're talking 15 years of bodybuilding before you get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So next question is, would you ever consider OnlyFans?
No.
A lot of bodybuilders are starting one.
Yeah. So the way I look at it, it's easy. Anybody can do it. It's a cheap buck. And I just know that 10 years from now, I don't want to be looking back at myself and say I took the easy way out to make money, when I just simply needed to work hard to make money the way that I want to make it and the way I know how I can make it.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. I don't have a problem with anybody else doing it. I don't judge anyone for doing it, because I understand the appeal and I understand how it's like accepted, right? Like, from like, no one really cares anymore. It's not a big deal. But just for me, I mean, it's something I've thought about. Like, I've definitely thought about this for sure, right? Because you see some people do so good on it, make so much money for just like posting a picture. But I mean, you're kind of just like, it's kind of just like a cheap way of just selling yourself, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, like, it's a tricky one because, well, the question is, have you ever considered it? Of course I've considered it. But, back in the day when I was like a young, teen bodybuilder, early 20s, I did like muscle worship and stuff. Like, when muscle worship was very popular, I did that to kind of supplement, the things I needed to pay for. But I found that it helped me at the time, but it really actually affected my mental state a lot. It gave me some mental health issues, because I don't exactly know why. It was almost like, because you're kind of selling yourself. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's just a weird situation to be in. It's like
it's because you actually hold yourself to a higher standard than that. But,
yeah, like
but
yeah,
you kind of let yourself slip.
Yeah.
For that short-term gratification of making that money.
That's
but
right.
your character is actually better than that.
Yeah, it's like, before that, I was working like 2 jobs and like, really hustling. And I'm like, oh, this is a way better and easier way to make money. I can make more money in a shorter period of time and have more time to do things that I want to do. But then after a little while of doing it, you're like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I feel degraded. I don't feel good about myself anymore. And then it's a vicious cycle, because you're like, gotta keep doing it. So I think with OnlyFans, like, I would just say, like, for people who are considering it, just again, good idea, bad idea. It's like, it's a good idea in the moment to make some quick cash. If you're desperate, you really need to pay for some bills, maybe it can be helpful, but realize, like, it's actually a bad idea long term to put yourself out there, because it's you right now. People judging you on your body and either paying you or not paying you, depending on, like, essentially, like, how sexually aroused you make them. So look at it like that realization, like, these are real people that may at some point also end up in your life, like, around your life, because you're going to meet probably some of these people at some point in your life, where they're going to be around you, and maybe it won't be the best thing for your mental state.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Like,
right. So
And like, who knows what, and like, what's next in your life? Like, who knows? Like, you could be making a mistake with that.
That's right. And things are so easily shared these days that it only just takes one troll, one hater, one bad breakup, and then boom, all your shit is sent to your fucking friends or your family or who knows, right? So it's like you can make some money, might bite you in the ass. So I think, you know, for me, it's not something that I'm ever going to do, you know, so. And like I said, I have personal experience with that kind of stuff, so I'd probably recommend against it. But, you know, also, you know, just for our professional careers, you know, it's like if you have nothing to do with the fitness industry, you're just someone that wants to put yourself out there and then you think that's your job, or like, you know, whatever, it's a personal choice, but like for us, it doesn't make sense.
No.
What's the best brand of boxers?
Best brand of what?
Boxers underwear.
I wear like Puma.
Yeah, I like Saks, Jed North. I don't even know, Fruit of the Loom. I don't really care. Yeah,
I got some Adidas ones recently that I like. Honestly, anything that just like they don't like roll up my quads and turn into like a Speedo.
Yeah,
that's what I like. That's the biggest struggle for me.
Yeah, Under Armour, they're good. Yeah, honestly, like my boxers, just like whatever my mom buys me for Christmas on my birthday, and then like sponsors, like it is.
I literally tell my mom that
I'm not too
like,
picky. Yeah,
I remember being a kid and like I get boxers for Christmas and be like, oh, what the hell? Like now when I get boxers for Christmas, I'm like, I needed these. Like, thank you. Like,
dude, I'm like, you know, my birthday's coming in October. It's like, fuck, can I hold off like boxers and socks till then?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Did you ever learn how to eat using chopsticks? Do you use chopsticks?
Only when I eat sushi.
Yeah. Yeah, always with sushi, and sometimes on prep if I really want to like slow my meals down, you know. What do you think of the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like. Some of the new Hyundais do look pretty good though.
Okay,
like they've rebranded a little bit. They got some cool electric cars out now too.
I've never been a fan of Hyundai. My mom's driven Hyundai, but I mean, I just think it's like a mom vehicle, you know. 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Let's take a look. Oh, it actually looks pretty nice. Okay, hold on. There it is. What do you think about that bad boy?
Honestly, probably one of my least favorite type of vehicles.
It's almost like it's like trying to be a pickup truck, but it's still an SUV.
Yeah, no.
Like, what's the point? What's the point of this? You know what I mean? Like, just make it an SUV so you have more fucking space in the trunk, or just take this part out and just make it a truck. Like, why is it got to be both? You know?
Yeah, it's gonna get a 3 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd give it like a 6 because I think it reminds me of like when they change like the shapes of paintball guns. They start to take on like different shapes. I kind of like that, but I would never buy this car and drive this myself. So
I'm only giving it a 3 because I'm only giving it a 3 because it looks like it could turn into a transformer.
Yeah. I'm waiting to get one of those fucking Tesla trucks. That's what it is.
One of the plaids.
One of those.
One of the trucks.
The big ones, the ones that you never have to replace the brake pads, and like when you brake, it fucking fills up. It it like recharges itself somehow. It's crazy. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you balance staying lean on off season but wanting to push food? Like, I think we talked about that at the beginning pretty well, where it's like it just depends on where you are in your career, you know. If you're early on in your career, you just need to push food and not worry so much about staying lean. As you get bigger and more seasoned, then staying lean in your off seasons becomes more of a health conscious decision, more so than like, oh, I just need to stay lean. It's like, oh, actually, it's more advantageous health-wise to stay lean when you're bigger. So
Yeah, exactly. You can get away with it when you're younger because again, the health thing, right? And
yeah,
but also like make your food adjustments like off how you look, like not just off the scale, because like
yeah,
you don't want to be pushing food because you're not gaining weight, but you're getting fatter though. You know what I mean? So like just take pictures, keep a note of body composition, and oftentimes like I make my food adjustments based off training performance now, probably more than anything.
yeah,
Like and the physical results will come from that. But like if I feel like I'm not getting stronger in the gym, my performance is lacking, I'll increase food based off of that, and then usually the physical results will yield themselves afterwards, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, just to sum it up, you always want to stay as lean as possible. There's no reason to like get fatter than necessary. But
Yeah,
again, it's like if you're small, you need to push for a while. You need to fucking just force feed, push food. Don't worry about losing your abs. Try not to, right? But if it happens, it's like it doesn't matter that much. And is GH a game changer for
yeah,
competitors? Yeah.
yeah.
Why?
Well, pharmacy grade GH we're talking about, but I
Yeah.
think it has a lot to do with how it increases your body's ability to utilize nutrients
Yeah.
and its effect on like blood sugar and in a sense of keeping your blood sugar well and it's because your body's using the nutrients, you know what I mean? Like if I take 6 IU's of GH, I can guarantee you my body's going to use the carbohydrates I eat throughout the day like a lot better because it's going to be using them to grow
Yeah.
like muscle, especially if I'm training and taking steroids on top of that. You know what I mean? So
I
and
think
because of that, it definitely keeps your body composition
yeah.
leaner, and it definitely allows you to probably hold more glycogen because you're definitely bigger and fuller when you're taking it compared to when you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. GH is definitely something that you want to use for a long period of time. And you don't necessarily need a lot of it, but having it in there consistently at like a lower dose is probably going to do better for you than like doing like a high amount for a short period of time, because it takes time to accumulate muscle mass, and you're not going to, by using more GH, you're not going to accumulate muscle necessarily any faster. You're just going to increase your side effects from using that compound. So when I was doing recently, I was doing an underground like a Chinese grade like GH. I was just doing like a full vial of it, so it's like I don't know, between 5 and 10 IU's, whatever it is. And I started getting like really bad carpal tunnel, and it was like I liked the way I felt because I was strong and full and all that kind of stuff. But then I'm like not sleeping. I'm waking up like 4 to 6 times a night because my hands are going numb. So and I took it out. I got leaner. I looked better and felt better just because I was sleeping better. So there's kind of a fine line with GH, but definitely pharmaceutical is the game changer, because it's like you don't know what you're getting otherwise. You just don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah. I think the thing is you have to be ready to invest financially into it before starting, because it shouldn't be something that you're like scratching the fucking bucket just to get a kit. You know what I mean? It's not worth it at that point.
No.
It's not going to change the game enough to be worth your investment until you can handle that burden, financially. All right, let's do one more. What's your go-to off-plan meal?
Off-plan meal.
Easy
I mean,
for me, man. I had 5 Guys, 2 burgers and a
I
fries.
personally I like going out for breakfast the most.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Like going out, getting like bacon, eggs, toast, hash browns, and then a side of pancakes, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Fuck. And then you train after that?
I give it like 2 hours and then I would train. Yeah.
Fuck, that's a good day. Yeah, that's a really good day, because you're just gonna have a fucking crazy pump.
Yeah.
I always do my cheat meal on like meal 5. But
I usually will like in most cheat meals, because I'll probably want to have it for like my second last meal, and then I'll just have like a shake before I go to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like breakfast is just like what I prefer, but it usually doesn't work out. Like it's not, because it's not really ideal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I'd love to go for breakfast like with my girl, but like just never works out, because it's like you got to have the cheat day, cheat meal on the same day. You got to be, you know, in the same, like, okay, we're going to go in the morning, train after, all that stuff kind of has to fit. I'm not going to go eat breakfast myself. I don't really like doing that.
Yeah.
Once in a while, maybe, but yeah, my go-to is it's two burgers. I just get two hamburgers from Five Guys all the way with jalapeno peppers and a large fry. Boom, done.
Unreal. Can't beat it.
And I might have, if my girl makes her cookies, then I'll probably have one of her cookies too.
You gotta have a little bit of dessert, just a little something.
A little bit, yeah.
A little something.
But my cheat meal this weekend, I didn't have any dessert. I just had the meal. Because normally I don't really have a sweet tooth. But like I said, if those cookies are there, can't say no.
Hey, cookies, listen, I can't turn down a cookie to save my life. So cookies are probably my favorite food.
Me too. Yeah.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. I like fuck man, there's a carrot cake cookie that she makes. She makes a butter tart cookie. I think that one's my favorite. It's a maple butter tart cookie. It's called the Canadian A, so yeah, it makes sense.
Is she with Kai Kai cookies?
Her cookies are called Nat's Naughty Cookies.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, we're trying to take out Kai Kai. So
I gotta try it out sometime.
Yeah, 100%. We'll send you some. Or when you come down.
Yeah, when I come down for sure.
Yeah. We made some for Toronto Pro and like they were a big success. So yeah,
that's good, man.
I wanted to do it like as an actual business. Like eventually we get like a bakery and like do this thing big. So I'm like, let's just start, you know, we'll do it like once a month or like when there's like events, you know, like when there's nationals coming up or like shows like that, like we'll do a little sale and just to kind of build from there. But like it's fun to do. So might as well fucking do it, right? So
yeah, I mean that's how I started when I had my cookie business. We just did like one launch a week, like get people to pre-order it, make 100 cookies, sell them, and it got going really fast, man. So
I didn't know you did cookies.
Yeah, I had a cookie company a couple of years, well, 1 or 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
It was a big hit. We had it going for like 6 months, but then just the people I was doing it with, they were doing all the baking and stuff, and like they had other jobs, so it didn't work out. But
yeah,
I mean, we were selling out. Like we would post our menu, like we had a website, we post the menu, and within 3 hours we'd be sold out.
Yeah, that's what
we had the whole week. Yeah, but we had like the little bags, and we had like our logo with like a sticker on it and stuff like that, or a sticker with our logo on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun.
Yeah, no, she's got that. She's got the name, she's got the branding, she's got the packaging, she's got the cookie. Obviously, is a really good product. So it's just like just doing it and getting it out there. So
exactly,
yeah, cool, man. All right, so yeah, we'll wrap it up there. One more time, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you drop us questions so we can answer them in the next one. Let us know who you want us to talk to. You know, thinking about getting some guests onto the show. If you have any ideas who you'd like us to bring on, let us know. We'll make it happen. Thank you guys for watching and listening. And make sure you share this with your friends so we can grow this podcast. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys. Thanks. See ya.
All right.